Joining me to talk about all of that and more, I am joined by two gentlemen that I am not sure if they share this annoyance that I have. This happened to me just moments before recording. Joined by the Chief, joined by Grayson, and I'll start with you, Chief. Chief, I have discovered a new pet peeve of mine. It is when I am driving and somebody is breaking, let's say, the standard rules, dare I even say laws of traffic, in order to be nice. For example, two cars, my car and another car, we've come up opposite sides facing each other, a busy road in between us, an intersection. I am turning left, they are turning right. They are waving me on to turn left. They have the right of way. I hate this. I hate this so much. It has made the entire situation.
You mean they're going straight?
No. They are turning right, but because I got there first, they are giving me.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Sort of permission to go ahead of them.
It always feels like a trap. It always feels like they're going to do that, and then they're going to gun it for the insurance money. I don't trust people like that. As a pedestrian.
Yeah,
like someone who walks around.
Speaking of things that annoy me,
walks around the downtown area all the time. Occasionally, I'll be doing a jaywalk, right?
Sure.
And as one does.
I know how to jaywalk. Okay.
Yeah.
Like I know when to go. I know where to stop. I do it in places where I know I got a safe spot because there's a median there or something, and so occasionally you'll be doing your jaywalk, and then you see that there's a car coming the other direction, and you already plan to stop.
Yeah,
and then that car slows down and stops and tries to wave you along, but the problem is, they've let other cars now catch up to them and ruin my entire timing. Okay.
Yes.
Or two, there's two lanes and they don't control, that person doesn't control both lanes of traffic.
Oh, that's the worst.
And somebody whips around the other lane and all of a sudden
somebody whips around and I know you're trying to be nice, but just let me do my thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll figure this out.
Because I know, I have the awareness of when I can and can't safely go. And the only time I want you to stop is when I have the right of way, which is more often than not when traffic does not stop.
All right, here's where my
I'm crossing the street. Someone wants to make a left. They're gunning on a left turn before they even looked to see if somebody is crossing.
Oh yeah,
that happens all the time.
I find Grayson to be the only ethical form of pedestrian, which is. When you're someone that lives downtown or works downtown, you do develop this sixth sense of how to jaywalk. Yes. I grew up in high school living in DC and going to school in the city. You learn when you live in a city of any size how to get across a street quickly. And that's a skill that it's invaluable in life.
Yes.
It's invaluable for any number of things. But bottom line, though, is that when you are jaywalking, you move quickly.
Yeah.
And you get from point A to point B. The real annoyances in life when you are in a car and in a normal thing in life is the person in the crosswalk who is it's my time to shine and I'm going to go as slowly as humanly possible to get across this crosswalk, which if the crosswalk is, it's at a red light where, you're stuck at the red light one way or the other and it doesn't really matter. That's one thing. But when it's one of these crosswalks that they've started installing where it's in the middle of a road for some reason, we're just going to put a crosswalk up and you hit the button and the light starts flashing to alert people to slow down for you. Man, do you need to, if you're going to do that, employ some jaywalking skills and hustle the hell up to get across that road. Pedestrians that are on their own schedule, I have no time for. None of us want to be going somewhere. If I'm in my car going somewhere, I want to be there. I don't want to be in my car. You, I'm sure, is the person walking. You've got someplace to be, too. I'm sure you'd rather be there than where you are right now. As a whole, it would just be a more pleasant experience for everyone if we all just agreed, let's get where we're going with as much alacrity as possible here.
Okay, but I'm going to put my foot down on this. If you're going through a crosswalk where you're a pedestrian, it's your right of way. You got the walk sign, or you got one of those crosswalks that you got the painted lane or whatever. You are allowed to walk through it.
Yes.
Like, I'm not saying like crab walk through it.
No, we need to walk with a purpose though.
But
here.
you can walk through it. And
life is too short.
And if somebody, and so what really gets to me is there's a couple crosswalks around downtown that are at traffic lights where people making left turns gun immediately as the light turns green and don't look to see if somebody's crossing before they go. And so no matter how fast you're going, somebody is zipping at you. And I can always tell when it's going to happen. And the only question is like, are they going to notice with enough time for them to like swerve and get around me? Or are they going to notice and they have to like slam on the brakes?
Or are they going to see you
about to
when
hit
you're
me?
on the hood?
Yeah.
I think my whole thing is everything in life as a driver and as a pedestrian. If we were all just a little more hyper aware, I think that would be good for everybody. The pedestrian, you should have a little bit of a healthy fear of getting hit. So hustle up and get out of the street. Driver,
Sure.
You should have a little bit of a healthy fear of hitting a pedestrian and like getting slapped with a huge lawsuit and all the things that on your conscience about maybe killing someone like that. If we all were just a little more afraid, I think everything would work out a little better for everyone involved.
I do think that that's right, that people need to be generally more conscientious, generally more afraid, not just of like causing harm to somebody else, but of somebody else like causing harm to you, and just kind of engaging in like harm reduction behavior where it's like, yeah, I'm getting across the street. I'm looking both ways before I turn in my car. I'm acting normal as I walk down the street.
Yeah.
I'm not unnecessarily engaging in strangers.
Yeah. I hit the crosswalk and it's like we're at double time through the crosswalk because the road is the danger zone. Let's get out of the road as quickly as possible.
Normal time is fine.
Yeah.
Like there's old people and disabled people trying to get across the street.
Hustle doesn't know age, gender, or body type. All right. No, my first grade baseball coach
in
always
Cincinnati,
said
Ohio, it does.
It costs nothing to hustle. All right. Every coach I ever had said it costs nothing to hustle.
It costs something. Okay. No, there is, I forget, there was like a movement somewhere in this country where basically it boiled down to giving people going through crosswalks bricks to hold as they went through, as a sort of leveling the danger playing field between the cars and the pedestrians of like, you can go into the crosswalk, but you may be targeting people with a brick that could be thrown back at you.
I think an underexplored and underutilized concept is like stand your ground as a pedestrian.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know why I like where this is going.
Because
if you have entered into a war,
if somebody makes me apprehensive as a pedestrian with the right of way,
you have a right to travel.
A car is a deadly weapon. There's a lot of that's pretty well established that a car is a deadly weapon.
But if I see you pull a deadly weapon out, does that mean I have a right to accelerate because I was in fear of my life?
No, because you initiated the situation.
But then you escalated the situation.
No, you escalated. You brought a deadly weapon out.
Is it possible to stand your ground while moving? I feel like the car's at a disadvantage.
I'm sitting my ground in the driver's seat.
Like that's like saying if you pull it. So what you're saying is if I pull a gun on somebody and they pull a gun on me, can I now pull the trigger? And I'm pretty sure the answer is no.
I think the answer would be I'm carrying a baseball bat because I just got I just had baseball practice. And you're like, he's got a deadly weapon. I'm pulling a gun.
No,
it's only deadly.
I'm carrying a baseball bat and I'm about to swing it to somebody at somebody and I'm 3 inches from their head, can they stab me? And if they do, can I keep hitting them?
I think the problem here is that most pedestrians that would take advantage of this are those like hyper pedestrians that you read about online on like the fuck cars subreddit.
I'm not saying it because I'm not saying a pedestrian can shoot somebody who's driving a car. Okay, so you need to understand. You need to understand how analogies work. Okay, you need to work on your ability to construct an analogy. I am not saying that a pedestrian gets to walk around and shoot everybody who is driving a car. I am saying that if somebody makes a turn and is about to hit you, and you feel like they're about to hit you, in fear of your life,
I fear you should be allowed to shoot.
You should be allowed to shoot them.
Shoot first.
People will drive more carefully.
I think the problem
is
with
that becomes a more well-developed concept.
The problem with all of this is this all requires turn-based combat. Like you need the 6-second beat to think about each individual play.
Oh,
I feel like a lot of this is too
you're allowed to open carry. Like I can walk around with a gun. Here's what
in my hand. Here's what you even thought about though, is that if you dome the guy behind the wheel, the car is going to accelerate forward and hit you anyway. It's mutually assured destruction.
You know who else didn't think about that?
Oh, no.
ICE.
A certain federal police officer in Minneapolis.
And our beloved vice president endorsed that action. So I'll take it. I think all pedestrians should be allowed to act should be held to the same. I think all pedestrians should be held to the same standard as as ICE.
As ICE.
as our federal law enforcement.
Yeah.
If federal law enforcement could shoot you in this circumstance, I can shoot you in that circumstance. That's fair.
I think that's just an argument for vigilantism.
No, it's an argument. It's an argument for bulletproof windshields is what it's an argument for.
No, the entire argument, and I'm sorry to go here, but the entire argument to that is that like he felt like the car was coming fast to him. I feel like the car is coming fast at me probably 3 times a week.
That's a good point.
A lot of dead people.
And it wasn't because it wasn't like he has
have you ever been hit though?
Sorry.
If you haven't been hit, if you fear this 3 times a week. No, if you fear this 3 times a week and it doesn't happen, then the fear is irrelevant then at that point, right?
But I have been hit.
By a bull.
No, by a car.
You didn't shoot the bull.
Right? I didn't see the bull. I bet I would have been allowed to shoot the bull.
I feel like that's like a hate crime when you sign up for the running of the bulls.
You can't shoot the bull, but you can stick it with a bunch of spears in the middle of a stadium,
or like a red cape.
Yeah. So I have been hit by a car. Okay.
What kind of a car? That makes a difference here.
An SUV.
Of course.
Oh, damn.
It wasn't like hit square on. It was like it turned into me. So like the side hit me and knocked me back. So it was like kind of mild.
So you get to pistol whip them.
No, I think I should get to shoot them.
Oh, okay.
Like non-lethal.
Again, the argument for the shooting being good wasn't that he has some special status. It was that he felt like they were driving at him, and it was self-defense.
But once he hits you, then it's just retaliation and revenge. That's not allowed.
Sure, I agree with that.
You would have had to shoot him. You would have had to shoot him first.
I would have had to shoot him before. Yes,
right.
And I should be allowed to.
I think we've settled this.
Did we just become a pro Second Amendment podcast?
We've always
never beating the allegations.
We've always been a pro Second Amendment
Come
podcast.
on now, this is always. I will say, I took a photo of this last week. Went to the old 50 West thing as a East Sider with kids is apt to do. I did appreciate this. We had to park across the street. They've got. Again, one of those giant blinking things that you hit the button and it blares a bunch of noise and it blinks lights and everything.
Yeah,
but
nobody in the county knows what that means.
Yes,
drive faster.
Nobody who's driving understands what that means.
I took a photo of the sandwich board sign that is right there that says "Cross with care. Cars may not stop."
They will not.
That's just the baked-in assumption that they will not respect you.
Look, my self-driving car doesn't understand that those are people in that situation, and I can't be held responsible for that.
That does remind me of the time. I don't know if they've updated
Chief,
it.
we do know that your view is that regardless of the circumstances, people are in your way and you get to do what you want.
Yes.
That's absolutely true. I have places to be. I understand
Only
this audio
you have places to be.
This audio will be clipped if I ever hit someone. It's going to go very poorly for me. I understand
you
that.
are laying the groundwork here.
We're putting a lot of bad film out there. I'm aware of this fact. But look, my whole motto when I'm going anywhere is I'm in a hurry.
But Grayson, here's the thing. Chief will agree with your and my position as soon as we get him out of the car. If we got to walk somewhere, Chief was 100% on our side.
No.
Here.
He just tacitly admitted that.
No. No, the only consistency in my argument is I'm the main character of this story.
Yeah.
You know what? And I appreciate that level of consistency. I wish it was a little broader, but I'll take a version of consistency. Oh, God. We should probably talk about the FC briefly, however briefly, because we have a man in the World Cup, exactly one. Miles Robinson, baby.
For better or worse.
Miles Robinson.
For better.
For better. It's good that he's there. It's good that he's there.
Is it? I'm kind of worried about Miles.
It's good. It's good. So I'll tell you this, and we can do real stuff, but like vibes based, I honestly think like he just has to get this thing behind him.
Yes.
Like missing the World Cup 4 years ago feels like it's been because of injury.
Right.
Like he would have been a starter in the 22 World Cup.
Yeah.
There's basically no doubt about that. Okay. And he would have helped the team in 2022. Like a healthy Miles Robinson makes that team better. There is no question in my mind. I don't think anybody who's knowledgeable or anybody's close to the situation would dispute that. And it was unfortunate for the team that Miles went down with an injury and missed it. It feels like, even though I'm not sure there's been like a full debrief or unpacking of this thing, it feels like missing that World Cup has been like a massive weight on Miles these last 4 years.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't surprise me if worries about, and this is totally speculative, okay? I don't want this to become like the narrative or like a thing people start to say as like fact or reported fact. This is entirely speculation. It would not surprise me if fear of missing the World Cup has affected Miles' performance for FC Cincinnati in 2026.
Makes sense. It would make sense.
Not just availability, but also like play on the field.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And if there has been a big mental component to how he's played, I do feel like getting through this World Cup, whether he plays a minute or whether, unlikely, he starts every game.
Yeah.
Getting this World Cup behind him, I think, will be incredibly valuable in allowing him to kind of get right. Again, this is speculative, but I think I wouldn't be surprised if we see a different Miles coming out of the World Cup.
I don't disagree with that. I do think that there has been it's only human. It is only human for as badly as he missed out on the World Cup with that, horrendous injury that he had.
Yeah.
That it's only human for him to be in a position going into this year and throughout this cycle of, I have to make this one. Like, I have to make this opportunity. And all throughout 2026, stay healthy, work the program, be in as good a form as possible, but number one, stay healthy. I agree that like getting through this, you could see a more relaxed, more instinctive, more intuitive, just a Miles Robinson that's in a better, more focused headspace on what's right in front of him versus always having one eye on this 2026 World Cup. I agree that's a possibility. Having said that, I do worry a little bit that we don't know how much he's going to play. Like, it would not surprise me if he starts on Friday. It would not surprise me if he doesn't play a minute on Friday. I don't know. Like, he was running with the ones as recently as Germany, and he got subbed out with the ones in Germany. And, you know, with other fitness issues and health and availability issues on the squad, I mean, I don't know. What I am afraid of, though, is that in most of his appearances thus far for the national team in this pre-World Cup cycle, he has had at least one moment, in some games multiple moments, where he has looked singularly awful. And not just singularly awful, like singularly awful in a way that it would be catastrophic if it occurred in a World Cup game, potentially. And I do have a mild worry that if there's a moment with Miles at this World Cup, I don't want it to turn into, for him personally, I don't want it to turn into like a Chris Wondolowski thing or something where he has to deal with that. We're going to talk about something that's very similar to this in the next segment, but I don't want him to come back with something really, really negative hanging over his head. And I'm, based on his play in the games leading up to the World Cup, I'm afraid that's going to happen if he sees minutes in these games.
I mean, didn't he look pretty fine against Germany?
Other than the two goals that he contributed to conceding.
There's two moments where he's certainly the guy on the poster, right? Like if you're gonna take the NBA term of posterizing a guy, which is not exactly what happened here, but he's certainly the defender in the frame when the goal is scored. But, you know, I listened to a podcast with all of the U.S. men's national team coaches that all blamed that first goal on Matt Freeze and the whole pick setting thing. And in the second one, it's very much on Tyler Adams ball watching, and it's Miles doing the sort of scramble defense to make up for it. Outside of those moments, though, he's pretty good. And Grayson, just to your point, least we forget, you know, I think you're right with the mindset. He also then had an injury at the U.S. men's national team camp earlier this year. So, like, not only did he have that fear probably in him, he got to see a little glimpse of it disappear right then and there. And after that moment, his club form has been abysmal. So I buy it more so with that data point. But yeah, go ahead.
On the first goal, okay, like, I'm not saying he should have done better, but there's a couple of things that I think are lost in it. One is, if we're not trying to, if people aren't especially motivated to pin that goal on Miles Robinson, they're also faulting the foul in the dangerous position. Okay. Like, there is,
right. Yeah, there's other blame.
There certainly is fault to be attributed to that. And I think if we were talking about the game with, like, if this had been an FC Cincinnati game, I think Pat Noonan would have called out, you know, giving up a foul in that spot to that team. Okay. And then second, the kind of like more ridiculous thing that I've seen is some people criticizing Miles by saying, like, oh, we gave up a goal to a guy who, like, only played X games for his club team and only scored X goals for his club team this past season. And it's like,
Kai Havertz.
He's Kai Havertz.
Yeah, he's still world class. Come on.
For Chelsea.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
If we had an American player, and I know we have, like, American players who have done better in their, but if he was, to this same person, this motivated Miles hater, if there was an American player who had the exact same season for Chelsea this past season, that guy would be a nailed on starter. He would be like our best player. Right? Like he would be
that was Christian Pulisic,
right? Right. Yeah, I mean, Pulisic had like a better season for Chelsea than Havertz just had, but they're not like that far apart from each other either.
No, not at all.
Like in Havertz's season wasn't that far from like the best season an American attacker has ever had in the Premier League, right? Yeah. Like you've had like Dempsey had a few really nice seasons. Donovan had a good like kind of short stretch.
Yep.
McBride had
McBride always gets forgotten.
Decent stretches. Pulisic had a fine the year they won the Champions League. He had a fine year.
Just couldn't stay healthy.
Yeah, was he like the best player? No. Was he dominant? No.
He wasn't raised by Frank Lampard. That doesn't mean anything because Frank Lampard's a shitty manager.
But was he at times a very productive player for Chelsea? Yeah. Right.
Absolutely.
And so like Havertz, you can throw into that group, but he's not out of place. You know, this is a down year for Havertz, who I think everybody would kind of agree would be like the best player we ever had on a talent and like body of work basis.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
He's a guy that's not coming to MLS at any price.
It's just so it's so funny to see people like talking around the fact that this is Kai Havertz and everything he's done, which would be against the entire like Euro agenda, just to denigrate Miles Robinson. And this is, and like people say this with FC Cincinnati, where they're like, well, you know, the other team is like also good or whatever. And like the other team like has good players and stuff. And that argument I often don't find super convincing because it's like, well, we should have better players. Right. But when the other team is Germany,
right.
Sometimes the other team has really good players, and like this guy can place a free kick wherever he wants because he plays on like one of the best teams in the world, and he's one of the best players in the world. Like that argument does feel more persuasive at that level.
It's a good argument, and it's like one of those things where at the end of the day, the end result of the score versus Germany, it's like, I don't care. 2-1, phenomenal. They're not on the same level as Germany. Like holding it together with Germany and thinking to yourself, okay, if you squint and these teams both played their full rosters for a full 90, yeah, maybe this game does end up as a draw, or this game does end up going the other way. That's not the issue for me. Like I'm not sitting here criticizing Miles's performance against Germany. I didn't think he acquitted himself well per se, but you know, you're going against Germany. It is what it is. My whole fear, the only thing I am watching for in this World Cup is that just from a human perspective, number one, and an FC perspective, number two, my only goal for seeing Miles Robinson in the World Cup is just go there, get your minutes, contribute.
Yeah.
God, I'm just praying he doesn't end up being a GOAT. And like, you know, we talk about the Germany game. He got in the Senegal game by the ghost of Sadio Mane as well.
That was rough.
I am just hoping.
Yeah, the Senegal stuff was bad.
Yeah, I'm just hoping for Miles that like whatever the next couple of games go like, that his on-field contributions occur without incident. That if he looks great, awesome, love that for him. I'm hoping that the kind of catastrophic errors where he's in the photo or directly responsible, I'm just hoping for his sake that's once the bright lights turn on and the whistle starts for the actual tournament, that we've put those behind him.
You don't want him having a Walker Zimmerman against Wales moment.
No.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. That'd be tough. I wish shared this. I think you guys might appreciate this. This is a PowerPoint slide deck put together. It is soccer for the girlies by the girlies. This was put together by, I guess, girl soccer fans for other girls in the girl group chat as a PowerPoint presentation on the U.S. men's national team.
Do we mean women?
So I'm using their nomenclature, and it was specified girls multiple times.
Okay. I'm okay being in like a space with women. I don't want to be commenting on what girls do.
That's
not
fair.
unless he's on his island vacation.
Right.
No.
Not unless I'm on the other Discord.
No. Anyway, there is a slide about one Miles Robinson, and I will read it for you. These are vibes-based sort of reviews of the players. So here is the Miles Robinson.
I mean, he's like the best-looking guy on the team.
Well, that's going to come up quite a bit here.
Okay.
Point number 1, seems like an absolute angel. Point number 2, not great at his job this season.
Oh.
Sub-points.
Boy, we're 2 for 2 so far.
Sub-points. Runs fast, though. Good at the rundowns and who can get taller scraps. People will complain about him. So pretty good. Pretty good rundown so far.
Women, no ball.
Yeah. I like this one a lot, and I totally forgot about this, and I cannot believe we've never talked about it. Was arrested in 2022 for not paying for shots, so might not be great with money either, brackets, but his mugshot was also kind of hot? Subpoint, bartender may have been racist, so we are Team Miles.
We're always Team Miles here.
I haven't looked at that story in a while. I think we did mention it.
Okay. I don't remember
when it happened. I definitely remember talking about it.
Oh, we might have talked about it during the World Cup, maybe.
Yeah.
Or something.
Yeah.
I feel like Miles was vindicated.
I don't remember the details. Yeah, or certainly.
I don't either, but I'm willing to vindicate him right now. I think that I think we can declare the 3 of us. Miles has been vindicated completely of whatever happened there.
Fully exonerated.
Fully exonerated. Yeah,
it's a Russian hoax. Really, 2 more points. Really likes this tree in the Dominican Republic. You can imagine what image that links to. And then finally, star sign Pisces. So there you go.
I was going to ask if they didn't. I was like, this is not for that group chat if we don't get a zodiac sign at the end of this.
They all end with zodiac signs, of course.
Nice.
So.
It's a water sign.
Oh, excuse me.
No, it's Pisces.
Didn't the signs change in like 2006? Do I have that right?
Is he a member of the Southern Water Tribe or the Northern Water Tribe? This is important.
He's from like Syracuse, right? No, he's from Massachusetts. Sorry.
So Northern Water Tribe.
Northern Water Tribe.
School at Syracuse.
He went to school at Syracuse. Yeah.
Famously misogynist up there. So wouldn't train female waterbenders.
So there you go. There's the Miles Robinson rundown. Do we have anything else? Oh, let me just ask this. Prediction, or let's do an over-under number of minutes Miles plays. And dare I reuse the number from Matt Miazga? Is 100 minutes a fair marker here?
I would say under 50.
Okay.
Although it would, like I said, it would not surprise me if he got to start on Friday.
But if he doesn't start on Friday, it's definitely under 50.
It's definitely under 40 if he doesn't get to start on Friday. If he gets to start on Friday, I mean, just smash the over. If he gets to start on Friday, he might start the remainder of the games in the World Cup. I think there's that breadth of opportunity and option as to like what's going to go on with this team.
I guess there's a chance that Chris Richards plays the first 2 games, the U.S. wins both of those games, and then they rest Richards for game 3 and let Miles play the entire game.
Is Richards ready? Like, I haven't seen.
So he said he's not restricted. He said he's good to go.
It's the World Cup. I will be ready for Paraguay. So.
But I will say this:
I don't think you should start him though if he hasn't played a minute.
I have no trepidation about rolling Miles out against Paraguay. Like he's played against Almiron. Like he's played against Almiron.
He's been teammates
plenty
with him
of times.
Yeah. He knows him very well. I was going to say the good thing is the group doesn't have attacking threats that aren't outside of what an average MLS team has. So,
except for Turkey.
Yeah, I guess. I mean
Turkey does.
But he's played against.
Okay, he's played against
Miles,
Messi. Fine.
Messi, and the caliber of player in MLS is with the DPs is.
I'm looking at a Yahoo Sports story right now. He may not be 100%. He admits. Yeah, that's
the thing, right? Do you use him as much as you can to make sure you get out of the group? Do you hold him in reserve and look like an ass when you get grouped and you never played your best player or best defender?
I don't push him. I mean, honestly, like I wouldn't push him against Paraguay.
No,
you should be able. You
Turkey?
should walk into Paraguay thinking we can win. We can win this game with basically any
11
starting lineup
yeah.
in this group.
MLS, American All-Star team should be able to beat Paraguay.
If you don't think you could beat Paraguay with Miles starting, you shouldn't have brought him.
Not only that, too. If you don't think you can beat Paraguay with Miles starting, you weren't going to beat him with Chris Richards starting.
That's true. That's true.
You got other problems, yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, I reading that right there, just as I Googled that as we were talking, I'll take the over on Miles, whatever the number is. Anything less than,
let's say 95 minutes, not including added time.
I personally would love it.
Yeah. I'll take the over on that.
Okay.
Because I think he plays a significant portion of this first game.
I would love it.
Cool.
All right. Well,
best of luck.
Good luck, Miles. We'll head on over to part 2, where we have yet another piece of World Cup semi-fictional, semi-factual
soccer blog book club.
Yeah,
soccer blog TV play book club.
We're going back inside the film room, baby.
Film room.
Yeah.
Join us over there.
Today's episode of the Cincy Postcast is also brought to you by E&L Roofing. Look, I get it. Hearing the words new roof can cause your stress levels to elevate. But when you need a new roof, the folks at E&L Roofing can help make that process easier. Since 2009, they've been serving the greater Cincinnati area and helping to keep everyone safe, dry, and covered, no matter what life brings you. It's springtime storm season, and it's a great time to get your roof checked out. Me, I had the folks from E&L out at my place recently for some work. Honestly, could not have been happier with the result. Even caused my mother-in-law to say, "Picked out a nice color on that." You know what? It's a win in my book. Plus, if you need siding and gutter work done, they've got you covered there too. And as a special value for our listeners, mention the Cincy Postcast when scheduling your inspection for up to 20% off a replacement roof, replacement siding, or replacement gutters. You can find them on the web and schedule your free inspection at elroofing.com, or L Roofing if you're listening to this on Cinco de Mayo. elroofing.com. E&L Roofing, keeping you covered, even if the back three for FC Cincinnati doesn't always.
Also, I want to talk to you about our newest sponsor, Oliver's Desserts. So excited about this. So Chief actually put me onto them, and the stuff they're doing is just next level. First off, woman-owned shop inside of the Eastgate Mall. And this is just not your average bakery. Everything is 100% scratch-made, ultra-premium quality. If you saw the fully sculpted FC soccer ball cake or those jersey cookies they did on social media, well, you already know that their artistry is insane. We're talking custom macaroons, Rice Krispies, brownies, even homemade Pop-Tarts. They're called Toasties, by the way, if you want to feel a little fancy. If you want to make somebody feel incredibly special for a birthday or a match day party, this is how you do it. And here's the best part. They have the skills to bake across dietary needs. I'm talking gluten-free, vegan, sugar-free, stuff that normally tastes like cardboard elsewhere. They make feel like a luxury dessert. So if you've got a family member with allergies, believe me, you know this struggle. You're looking for a shop that can do this. Oliver's Desserts has got you covered. And as a special incentive for Postcast listeners, oliversdesserts.com, link in the description as well. Use code CHIEFSWEETS, all one word, That gets you 20% off your first order. And again, that's Chief Sweets for 20% off. Check them out. Check out the gallery on Instagram at Oliver Desserts. Give them a follow. Support local. Huge thank you to Oliver Desserts for sponsoring this episode. All right, we are back. And thank you to everybody who listened last week to the rebroadcast of episode 39. So as I recorded the intro to that last week or Sunday, I had no idea how far back that was. I knew we did it, and in my head it was much more
last
recent.
year.
Right. We did that in 2022, which was the first year we did the podcast, episode 39. Literally in the first calendar year we did the podcast, and it was right before the World Cup, which made sense at the time. Also, the movie was slightly more new then. It was still, I think, a couple of years old at that point, but it was certainly newer. So that was fun. I actually sat down and listened to it back later because it had been so long. I'd like to think the audio quality has gotten a little bit better since then too. Maybe it hasn't, but we sound a little better now too. So
the takes haven't gotten any better in that time period, though.
They might have actually gotten worse.
We weren't talking about shooting. We weren't talking about shooting drivers as pedestrians, though. In that we were a little more conservative with the takes. So I guess we got a new one here. This was brought onto our radar by Grayson initially. I think somebody in the Discord may have mentioned it as well.
Yeah, I was just pulling
Grayson, do you want to introduce what it is we have watched and what you have asked us to watch for this episode of the Film Room? Oh,
real quick before you do, shout out to Big Stein in the Discord who also suggested this. Grayson beat you to the punch. But it was a great moment of within a couple of hours of each other getting those notifications. Okay, continue, Grayson.
Yeah, so there's a series that recently premiered on the BBC over in the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland called Dear England that focuses on the Gareth Southgate years in charge of the English national team, which spanned something like part of 2016 into after the Euros in 2024, I believe was the stretch there. And Southgate was a professional player over in England. He was an English national team player. He had famously missed a penalty in the 96 Euros,
yeah. Which they will not let you forget if you watch this show.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
They will not let you forget this.
He missed the penalty in the 96 Euros that allowed Germany to advance over them. And it was like a kind of a seminal moment of in his life and of him as a England player. And then he had a rather poor tenure as a manager in Middlesbrough, and then went into the English youth national team setup, managed various English youth national teams. And then in 2016, Sam Allardyce was hired as the English manager, lasted a game.
He did one whole game, and then was fired for not necessarily his coaching acumen.
Yeah, he was fired for getting involved in a kind of a backdoor transfer agent payment kind of scandal.
When your name is Big Sam, you got to assume shit like that's going on when you hire him, right? You don't hire Big Sam to be squeaky clean.
Yeah,
you hire Samuel if you want to be squeaky clean.
Man, he fell for that one rough. That was tough.
Yeah, there was it was like a sting.
Yeah,
right? It was basically like a project. What's the group called?
Veritas.
Project basically like a Project Veritas kind of.
Yeah, he was sitting next to PG Sittenfeld at the bar, and someone was like, "Can you please speak into the lapel of my jacket a little louder?"
Basically, he's giving advice on how to skirt financial rules on third-party ownership, which is largely banned, but still kind of exists at the margins of the game. But he's giving all of this advice to two journalists for The Telegraph, who were posing as wannabe agent, wannabe third party folks. Just absolute rough scandal. So
the thing that you have to remember about England is despite having like nominally stronger free speech restrictions, they also have a much more aggressive investigative press than we do. They just spend all of their efforts investigating like celebrities and footballers.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually.
It's the tabloids over there. Which
they have like a tabloid industrial complex over there.
Which fun fact, tabloid just means that the paper opens like a book as opposed to folding it. So
as opposed to broadsheets, right?
Yeah. So Big Sam gets fired. Gareth Southgate, the U21 manager at the time, gets tapped as the interim, and he brings his, baggage to the team, develops like more focus on like the player as a person, and the show kind of follows his tenure in the national team. I do want to give a little bit more background of like the drama is Gareth Southgate is played by Joseph Fiennes, who was Shakespeare and Shakespeare in Love. He's Ralph Fiennes' brother. He was also in The Handmaid's Tale. He was in Enemy at the Gates. He was in like a movie about Martin Luther. He was in a canceled Ryan Murphy show about like a trans doctor, I think. But he played but this show was a play first that
which you
also
can tell
starred
when you watch certain parts of it. There are parts of it that are very theater coded.
Yeah, it also starred Joseph Fiennes as Gareth Southgate in the play, and then the play stopped in like 23. Southgate's tenure continued to 24. We haven't gotten this far in the show, but the show does expand out to like cover the entirety of Southgate's tenure, so it goes a little far. It goes farther than the play did. I watched the first 2 episodes. I think you guys might have just watched the first
episode.
Yeah, I only got the first one.
So just as like, I guess, scene setting, this is what the show is about. This is where we are. It's not available in the US at the moment. We were able to get our hands on the episodes.
That makes it sound like we got an official screener, which this absolutely was not. It's a bootleg copy that
sort
we
of
got.
the opposite of the official screener.
Yeah, we sent a letter to the Beeb, and they sent us a screener so that we could review this right here.
Yeah. So apologies, folks, for who haven't. For those of you who haven't watched it, we can't really spoil it though, because again, we haven't watched the whole thing, and also it's. All the stuff already happened.
You can look up what happens to Gareth Southgate. Like it's all there.
The stated goal at the beginning of the show is that England will win the World Cup in Qatar. And let me tell you, they don't.
Spoiler alert. Yeah. If you're looking for another hook and you think you have followed me on Twitter or X, the Everything app, it's all happening on X, and you've read my posts on Discord and you've heard me on the show, and you know the sort of like other media that I'm into, you would also be potentially intrigued to know that the female lead is played by Jodie Whittaker, who was most recently the Doctor in Doctor Who. So
there you go.
She's also in a fantastic movie called Attack the Block.
Oh yeah, with John Boyega, who is in John Star Wars. It's
like a smaller, older English film about like
an alien invasion.
Yeah, they call them council estates.
Yeah,
over there.
Basically like housing over there.
Basically, like a housing project finds itself subject of like an alien invasion, and the residents the residents who range from like regular people to drug dealers have to like band together and like fight off the alien invasion. It's quite a fun
it's a good movie. It's from an era in filmmaking where we were really fixated on like, let's shoot an entire movie in just like one building.
Yeah,
which was also what was it?
Dread. And then what's the Indonesian one?
The Korean one. Was it Korean or Indonesian?
It's Indonesian.
The Raid was Indonesian.
Yeah. But Dread is also a phenomenal watch if you've never seen that as well. That might also have to be an off-season movie. Okay, so for this show, I didn't really know what we were getting ourselves into. I looked up enough to know that it was based on a stage play, which helped understand a few
I did not know that until right before we hit record. And I was like, oh, that makes so much sense.
Yeah. So my first overall thought watching this was, is this what watching Miracle would feel like if you weren't American?
It is absolutely what watching Miracle would feel like if you weren't American. Like, it's like their Miracle.
Yeah, and except they don't win.
Yeah, there's no like. Sure. I mean, they lose no gold medal. Euro final, right? Like that's the.
Yeah.
It's so the first episode ends with them
at the World Cup in Russia,
making the semifinals of the Russian World Cup.
But right, which, spoiler alert, they don't win.
Yeah. They don't win, but they do win the first World Cup penalty, which is so much of what
they do. They do win the first World Cup
towards,
shootout in English history.
Yeah. So
against Colombia.
Yes.
Colombia. They make a big deal in this about, Gareth Southgate misses that penalty in the 96 Euros.
Yeah.
And 96. And it's something that like haunts him, that's portrayed as haunting him for the rest of his life. And when he gets hired by,
he seems to have a nice life, by the way.
He seems to be doing very well for himself.
He lives in a really nice house. It's like he seems to be like a lot of land. He like goes out and runs in the woods all the time.
Everybody likes him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, you get the sense that like he's made peace with it, but that like it selectively still bothers him at times, which I mean, how could it not? But he comes in with this idea where it's like, okay, so we pivot from sort of this feel good story to like, now it's going to be a little Ted Lasso-y, where Garrett's coming in and his ideas aren't to fix the tactics.
Right.
His idea is we have to make the team play with more joy and to embrace their inner emotion. And it's played so I don't have a lot of experience like watching Southgate work. I've seen interviews with him, obviously, the same sort of stuff you would see of any major national team manager when these tournaments happen. But he's played as kind of a goof in these first 15, 20 minutes or so of the episode, like kind of soft spoken. You can't tell if anyone's really taking him seriously or not. There's a lot of people that seem like they're kind of like, this guy's a little full of it. I don't know what they were trying to say there, but like, they very much play him as the butt of the joke for the first 10 to 15 minutes of the show.
Oh, well, it's the moment that really like Ted Lassoed for me is when he brings the almond croissant and like the trainer takes it and is happy. That was just like so Ted Lasso.
So I did. So after actually today, I went back and I watched because they dramatized this in the episode. I watched the first press conference with Gareth Southgate and the English media.
Yeah.
And two things stuck out to me. One, they're way more disrespectful to him in the show.
That tracks.
Than it seems like they were. See, I felt like in the conference, like, I wouldn't be surprised. I don't know these media people or whatever. I wouldn't be surprised if the people asking the questions were like already pretty familiar with him and had like a rapport with him, because the conversation seemed very natural. It seemed very normal.
I mean, he was like he was an 18-year veteran of the Premier League. Like he'd been in part of the English soccer landscape forever.
Yeah. And he's like around the training grounds all the time with like the youth national teams. These people probably know him. I thought they were like pretty cordial with him in the conference.
I remember him being like a shoo-in for the job. Like a lot of people thought he should have the job. So it wasn't like a crazy controversial pick. And not that the show
I don't remember that. Way. I remember him with the interim there being thought that somebody else would take it.
Yeah.
That's my recollection. I haven't gone back to like look at coverage at the time.
Yeah.
But and the other part that I thought was that like I think Joseph Fiennes puts in like a nice performance.
He looks
on the show
exactly like him.
He does look exactly like him.
Yeah, it's unsettlingly so, in fact.
But I think that I do think he plays him like a little
Neurotic.
touched.
A little neurotic. Yeah.
And I wasn't getting that so much from Gareth Southgate's actual demeanor in the press conference.
I do wonder if a little bit of it was the fact that, like, so a big plot point of this first episode and of the show is that, okay, like England's, reputation, and you talk to anyone who's a fan or who's an expat or who, it's all that, like, it's coming home. They say that, but nobody truly believes that's going to happen. That tragedy will befall England in the worst way. Their fans don't expect to win. But yet there's this expectation that when they don't win, it's some massive tragedy. So they underscore this idea of no one expects us to win, but then when we don't win, it's somehow our fault for doing the thing everybody expected us to do. And so as part of like building past that, he hires and convinces Jodie Whittaker's character, who is a culture builder's a doctor. There we go.
Dr.
Like
Pippa Grange.
Yeah.
Dr.
Already
who?
typecast.
Dr. Pippa Grange.
Dr. Pippa Grange. So she's a doctor and a culture builder and like a sports psychologist, kind of, not really a sports psychologist, but just sort of a more general. She's not working in sports at the time that he pulls her in. But
I think she said she had done it in the past. I'm trying to remember that sort of like hallway sales pitch.
But it's not what she wants to do. Like she doesn't want to be like a sports
consulting.
Right, yeah. She's like a corporate coach. It actually, at this moment in the show, I started calling him Greg Southgate. Because it feels like a very Greg Berhalter thing to like go to like these corporate coaching like seminars.
What is
and,
it?
like
Chapman
take down
House
notes.
Rules.
Yeah. Like it was just it was very it just like that sequence where he's like at this like corporate coaching thing and like talking to this like woman who's got like an airport book.
Yeah.
That all was very Greg to me, very Greg Berhalter to me.
But I don't wonder if the reason why he's portrayed that way is that like they're portraying him as the kind of guy that would go talk to a shrink.
Sure,
talk to and like if he
they do mention him going to
get help.
There's like a line in there that he like went to a shrink at a point in time.
Yeah, but I think that like there was a thought that maybe that, and I don't know if it would have come off this way, but that if he was like super confident, that him going to seek help might come off the wrong way.
Yeah.
Or going to like recruit people to like help him do this and like change this sort of outlook would be seen the wrong way. So I guess after that, like he meets with the players for the first time and like there's a scene recruiting the players. I don't know that I would be flattered by my portrayal from some of the players that show up on this.
This was like my first beef with the show. Is I don't think they should have put the players' names on the screen when they were introduced. Like, if I can't pick out that this guy's playing Harry Maguire, the actor is not doing a good job.
Well, the guy playing Harry Kane is like a dead ringer for Harry Kane.
So he doesn't look like him so much.
No, but he's
got the voice. He does. He has the voice, and he has the like kind of like presence, like the body, like he's like he is inhabiting Harry Kane. Like the face isn't super close or whatever.
No, but like
he like has the whole Harry Kane deal.
Yeah.
Down.
Where it's like lower level landed aristocracy look, where it's like this man at some point was like a lesser noble.
Maybe my favorite part of the show, of the episode, is when they were talking about who should be the captain, and they light Harry Kane like he's Luke Skywalker. Like, it's like the exact same shot as like Luke at his uncle and aunt's farm in the first episode in the episode. In the
Harry Kane looking at two twins
like looking
out.
Yeah, it's just like just all of it. It's like I was like, I recognize that shot immediately. That's Luke Skywalker. Like the midichlorians made Harry Kane.
They do make.
I know. Yeah, right.
Well, I did get a genuine laugh later on. Somebody tells him, "You're a wizard, Harry," and does the voice like that.
Jordan Pickford says that.
Yeah,
Jordan Pickford. I love his depiction. That's great.
The actor looks just like Jordan Pickford.
That's the closest. A pretty good job matching likenesses overall.
Some of them.
Dele Alli comes off like a dickhead, like straight up. Which I don't know him well enough, but
they do the whole. He's like got like a troubled, background. I say this in episode 2. They I'm pretty sure episode 2 is the last time we're going to see him in the show, just because that's when he gets like cut from gets dropped from the England roster.
Well, they're setting that up.
They kind of touch on his like tough family background, but they don't really get into it. So I think your overall perception of Dele in the show is that he's like a guy with like a bad attitude, which is probably a little unfair. It's not like wrong per se, but it's a little unfair to like kind of the whole guy. But you also can't like tell like every player's story in full.
No,
right.
It is about Southgate.
Yeah. The other thing that I thought was interesting, I don't know if you guys picked up on it. I don't know how you wouldn't have, because they weren't exactly subtle with it. But this idea that like Gareth Southgate and the English national team needed to heal Brexit.
Yes, I tweeted about it.
Yes.
Did you not see my tweet about it?
I didn't see your tweet about it, but I was like, this is unhinged, this part right here.
I think I saw that from the trailer, to be honest. But episode 2, they heal COVID.
Okay.
Oh, good.
Good. Episode 3, they're going to retcon the Star Wars sequels. It's going to be great.
I thought that was definitely interesting, where like they very much like shoehorn in Brexit.
Yeah.
Into the
episode. It's not subtle, and it's like it comes out of nowhere too.
Right.
It's like, it reminds me of the this will be a reference for Grayson only, but in the first episode of the Star Trek The Strange New World show, where they randomly cut to a clip of January 6th when talking about the problems that humanity had before they achieved
that was fantastic. That was fantastic.
But it was like such an out of left field drop.
It was like a cut of like, it was like the worst things that have ever happened
they were going to hang in the
history of Earth. And it was like, it was like January 6th. I was like, this is perfect. I was like, this show is going to be incredible. It is so libbed out. People are so like
going to lose their mind looking at this.
So the
I think we need to talk about the elephant in the room at this show.
No, hold on. One thing real fast. Oh no, go ahead, Kevin, actually, because I think we can do like bigger themes a little later, because I think there are some bigger themes that are worth touching on in the show.
I think maybe the part that certainly forced me to put on subtitles.
Wayne Rooney.
Oh, the accents.
Wayne Rooney.
Yeah, Wayne Rooney specifically. Yeah, God, no.
I have no idea what Wayne Rooney said.
I was like, they nailed Wayne. Like that's what he sounds like.
After that conversation, I was like, how did he and Lucho ever talk?
I was like, I assume what Wayne Rooney said was like, I'm going to go to MLS and score the greatest and set up the greatest goal of all time.
Yeah, I got places to be, man. Good luck.
So they like the players do the whole Ted Lasso thing where this guy's full of crap. We have a fight in the locker room as he's trying to get him to open up about their feelings. And then we cut to him taking him on like a military exercise.
Yeah.
Which is a thing that they do.
Yeah. And
it's a thing sports teams do.
Yeah. But then like he tells his story. It's like kind of a quasi Tropic Thunder thing going on.
Yeah.
And then he tells his story around the campfire about missing the penalty. Well, yeah, obviously that too. It was a really, really tough look for John Stones. But he tells his story around a campfire about missing this PK. And then it's like, oh, that brought the team together, hearing about this incredibly public first thing in the Wikipedia page footage that they've all probably looked up as soon as he
all probably
got
watched
up there
as kids.
Yeah. And it's like, oh, now everything's okay. Everything's hunky dory. Like now all of a sudden we can actually succeed doing the military training drills because he told this story around the campfire, which thematically great. No notes on that. Like it's a great turning point for the show. Ray Fiennes does an incredible job with like
Joseph
the
Fiennes.
acting. Joseph Fiennes does an incredible job with the acting in the scene, but it's like, this feels a little trite in terms of sports movie cliches.
Yeah, I think so. It is cliched, and it is corny in a lot of ways. But like one of the themes, if you like, they try to do like the whole themes about like, you know, like British identity, right?
Yeah.
But like one of the storytelling themes is the willingness to like be vulnerable and how like overcoming the fear of being put in a vulnerable position allows you to like perform, you know, to your best.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
To perform more freely. And that's what Jodie Whittaker is there for, is to like talk to the guys about. And that's what the dust up in the locker room comes on about. Was Gareth Southgate walks in like day one and like asks them all to be vulnerable, and they're all like, nah, not doing that. And the turning point on that is what Chief just mentioned, is them going on this like Royal Marine retreat and Southgate telling, you know, his personal story and everybody kind of relating to those emotions. And I think if you have seen like anything from this show, it is people sharing clips from it and being like, look how corny this is. And I think that's like, that exercise is like kind of what the show's about, right? Like it's like having being self-possessed enough to like not worry about whether you feel corny, to like share an authentic emotion, right?
Yeah.
And the impulse of sharing something because it's like, you know, not drenched in irony and that makes you uncomfortable.
It's hard.
Is kind of what the show is. It's like what the show's about.
Yes.
Yeah. It's also like, to a certain extent, like it also is where its theater trappings become a little more apparent, where, you know, things that come across as corny when you're watching them on TV or in a movie, when you're in an actual room with an actual actor and you're watching something on a stage, like it hits differently. Some of like over the top corny, or like wearing its emotion directly on its sleeve. The other big thing in terms of big narrative theme that I thought was interesting about this, that I do give it credit for, is it introduces the concept very early of the idea of like that we're all just sort of telling a story.
Yeah.
And like the story in 3 acts. And part of the interesting thing is this idea of accepting your place in the narrative, but also realizing that you have agency as a character and as a person in that narrative. And that the story isn't something that happens to you. It is something that you take an active role in forming. And the idea of there's this story that's pre-written for the English national team. We have the ability and the agency to change that story. And we have the agency to do different things in that space. And from that standpoint, I enjoyed that it was almost a meta exercise a little bit, that we understand that we're being told a story, but we're being told a story about people trying to change the plot of this story, which I thought was interesting. And I thought it was well executed.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought that was interesting because it made me think about, so like, we obviously as English speakers and Americans, we probably get like disproportionately in the soccer world, like English narratives, English Premier League kind of stories. The English national team is like kind of looms kind of large
It's kind of everybody's second team because they know so many of the players. Yeah.
And the show draws this parallel, I think, kind of between like the English national team and England as a country, where there's this idea that there's this expectation, right? That you are the big dog, that there's this like memory of empire that contrasts with where you actually sit, and it's like kind of this, it creates this like dichotomy in the mind of like every English person that makes you very like kind of fragile to how like when results happen, Right. And it's a thing they deal with on the soccer level, but they also draw it with like the Brexit and with like some of the national stuff politics. They deal with.
Yeah.
And it is like this kind of thought where like you like England, like they say this in the show, like England walks into every tournament and they think we're going to win. And Southgate asked the question on the show, why do we think we're going to win? Yeah. We haven't done it.
Yeah.
I looked up the English national team, like kind of history, and like, they won the World Cup in '66. Southgate presided over like the most successful stretch of tournaments in England national team history.
Yeah. Okay? Outside of the World Cup, I believe he's the most successful England manager.
He finished second in the Euros twice. That's the only time in the entire history of the Euros that England finished as high as second. Okay. He finished 4th and 6th in the World Cup. Other than winning, England has finished 4th one other time and 6th one other time, and below those every other time.
Jeez.
And so there is this like idea that's like a theme that I think is very interesting in the show of like, how does England think of itself, and what is England, and how England thinks of itself, and how England actually realistically is kind of make everybody like a little bit deranged.
Yeah.
And if we had like a more healthy perception, because we are still like pretty good, like we can have like high expectations of ourselves. Me speaking as like an English footballer and like an English person, we can have a high expectation of ourselves, but like align that with reality a little bit, and it'll actually improve our performance where we're not expecting in our mental health, right?
Like as a nation and as a team.
Yes. And I thought that was like kind of like a pretty good element of the show.
Yeah. And it's also an interesting element just because like from an American standpoint, like we go through that with the U.S. men's national team, this idea of a divergence between what is our expectations for the team, what is the result that the team performs, and to what degree our reaction is not in keeping with what reality suggests that we should be expecting.
Yeah. The aspirations versus the reality, like, especially when the United States is that empire, essentially to some degree, that England was, right? And we dominate in every other sporting endeavor except for this one. And it just so happens to be the one that the entire rest of the world cares about. Cricket, rugby, sure, but like this is the one that like we really don't do. Grayson, at that same moment, I thought about this because there are parts of this here and there that you can find in college sports, but not so much. But I think in this era of NIL, we are eventually going to come to a point where a traditional power, a blue blood, just cannot and will bottom out. And like
we're seeing it.
Like I guess like San Francisco City College or whatever that had like the 10 title runs.
I don't know.
I mean, you're looking at you're looking at Nebraska. You're looking at Notre Dame.
Oh, Nebraska.
Right. But what I mean, what happens when those teams join the MAC and just straight up hand up Tulane it and say we're out? Like the game has passed us by.
Boy, that was a side swipe I wasn't looking for today.
Well, it was either that or Georgetown. So one of you guys was getting it.
No, I think it's fascinating. And I think that like that was my favorite part of the show. The part though that like, you know, that I thought I had a problem with in terms of like narratively speaking is that there's this whole push in the show that you have to get beyond the weight of expectations and the weight of history and the weight of the narrative.
Yeah.
And then the entire episode builds to this crescendo where they hand jerseys out to the players that pointedly have like we called them in the fraternity, your badge number. Like what was you're the 1,140th player to wear the jersey for England, and you have all of this. Think of all of the history that's behind you. And I was like, my man, you've been trying to get them to not think about this.
You've been trying to sever this link.
Time you're here. The entire point was not to think about, oh my God, I'm carrying the weight of 1,000 prior players and a nation of millions on my shoulders. It was no, be free. That it's you are not the 1,170th player in English history. You're the 10th player on this team, and that's all that matters.
But I thought that's what he was going to do. I thought that was going to be the thing of like.
I think there's a tension there.
You're 1,200th, but you're first on this team. You're second on this team, whatever. And but they didn't do that. I was like, oh, okay.
But like to the other point though, to that. The way it's used in the penalty shootout this was the most theater coded portion of the episode where they all say their name. Oh, it was so good. No, it was like, good. Like as soon as they did that in the shootout where like he walks up Harry Kane, number whatever it is, and then makes his PK
1,210 or whatever. Yeah.
Whatever it is, like, and then kicks his PK. I was like, God damn it. I can't be mad about that now because it built to a point where I was like, this is shockingly moving. And I already know how this like goes out right here. Like, I was like, this is an earned moment right here, even though the part that leads up to it makes no goddamn sense with how the rest of the show had gone.
You know, yeah. Yeah, I think that there is this like kind of dual thing going on, right? Where it's like it is like understanding where you are in the history, in the country, representing the country, you know?
Yeah.
And sharing in like, I think with the numbers it's like we're all sharing in the struggle. Like you're not alone out there. Like the whole thing where like Gareth Southgate
kicks. Yeah,
he makes that comment where like after he missed the kick, nobody wanted to talk to him. You know, and they said if you make or miss it, you're going to come back into the squad and put your arms around your teammates, and you know people are going to look you in the eye. You know, and so I think that's maybe what they were going for with like emphasizing the numbers, where it's like you're in a group and there's this like we're all in it. And right. I think that ties into like a little bit how they filmed the games or how they showed the games, which I really enjoyed.
It was great.
They use real game footage, right?
Yeah.
For the goals, for the games, in the game action. And then with where you see like the crowd, you see everything. And then when it's the actors, the background is kind of blacked out.
Yeah, it looks like it's on stage. Yeah.
Yeah. And they're like, when they're in the huddle or like when they're just like talking or they're like lining up to kick, the background is like all blacked out. It looks like they're on a stage and it's very private. And I thought that worked really well.
Yes.
Because it's one, I didn't want to see these actors like simulating soccer games.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Like I would rather just like watch actually Harry Kane score a goal. Like that looks better than whatever they were gonna like reconstruct. Right. But also the game action and the goals and stuff. So the episode starts with like that like disclaimer which is like a little bit more detailed than like most disclaimers, you know, where it's like the events
this is a work
like
of
real
historical
or whatever.
fiction. Yeah.
This is a work of historical fiction, and like conversations have been invented, you know, whatever. And
Grayson, real quick on that point, for the stage show, would that have been read over a PA, do you think?
Maybe part of the play, part of the playbill,
or part of the playbill.
Yeah, but I can imagine that being a sort of like faceless narrator that doesn't show up at any other point, but it's sort of the intro to it.
That's possible. I don't know how this was staged. They did air the play like in theaters, but I haven't been able to locate a copy of like the play. So
that could be fun.
But
I watched that now after watching this.
I tried to find a copy of the play and I wasn't able to do it, but maybe it's still out there. You think
they'd have a screen drop down and just play the highlights during the play?
But I really liked that they played like actual game footage for like those moments, right?
That was great.
And then when they wanted to do close-ups or they wanted to do conversations, they would do the huddles, they wanted to do them walking up and like stepping up for the penalty. It like we see the actor and it kind of blacks out in the background, and the effect for me for that was like the game stuff. That's all stuff that the public saw, right?
Right.
But the conversations in the huddle and stuff, that's just for the players.
Right.
Right. So like the background being blacked out, it's like, no, the crowd is not part of that. That's just for these guys. And there's a moment in the second episode where it ends with I guess ended up being the 21 Euros where they went to penalties with Italy.
Yeah.
And Saka misses the last penalty for them to lose. And the Southgate is the first person out to him. Okay. And he holds Saka close to him. And I think for the first time in the show, you see him talk to him and you don't hear what he says.
Oh, interesting.
And that is like a moment that only those two,
it's so private,
have experienced, you know, like only Southgate and Saka have like been in that. And obviously like other players have been in that moment, but like
for
in
this
that
narrative,
context, right? Only those two have been in that moment. So only those two can know what that experience is. And we're just denied that experience. Yeah. And I think like that type of stuff works really well.
Yeah,
in the show.
Yeah, the other thing they do that I like is when they cut back to real footage. I noticed this a lot, especially with Southgate. Almost never showed real Southgate's face. It was always clips from behind or far away. So it helped give you that illusion that it was the same guy, because it would be pretty jarring to go back and forth between two different faces representing the same character in this case. I thought that was
what I really did like about the idea that when they drop out the crowd and they go into the tight shots with the black background, it does feel in those moments like you are intruding, like you are not supposed to be there, which I really, and also it also emphasized the idea that I really liked about the entire theme of you've got to block out whatever everything else that's going on. It's just about you. It's just about this team. It's just about us here together. And then you're viscerally reminded about that fact when literally the only people on the field or in the shot are the people that are supposed to be on the team. We're what really matters right here. It's what we do and how we respond to these moments. So I thought that, like, from a filmmaking point of view, I was like, this is really, and then you combine in the idea that it originally like paying homage to its theater roots. I thought that was very well done. I ended up liking this a lot more than I thought I would.
Yeah,
it's
same.
cheesy.
Yep.
It wears its heart on its sleeve. It's not subtle in the slightest, but
it's propaganda for the English national team.
100%.
Right? Yeah, like it's like Kev, I think Kevin, you said like it's like watching Miracle if you're not American.
Yeah,
Chief said that.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it's like. You know,
right.
But like whatever, like if you're an English person like watching this before the World Cup, you are amped up
Yeah.
for your national team.
Or it's utter woke nonsense and is the reason why this talented group didn't actually get over the hump.
Yeah, and I obviously we reserve our right to change our opinion if we finish the rest of the series and it sucks.
Yeah.
Episode
the
1,
rest.
banger. It's kind of like the first episode of Sherlock. You're like, hell yeah, banger.
Yeah.
You get to the end of the 3rd or 4th season, you're like, I've wasted way too much time on this dumb shit.
This guy's kind of an insufferable prick. I don't want to watch this anymore.
And it's the time where England needed this because the Doctor Who apparently is canceled. So it's a tough time. It's a tough time for the old
Disney owns it now. Is that what's happening?
Who knows?
Russell T Davies came back. They regenerated the Doctor into Billy Piper with no plan as to what would happen next, and then they fired everybody. So, good luck.
Yeah, I guess as propaganda, comparing this to United Passions, just not in terms of filmmaking, it is a much better product, but in terms of like intended audience and intended effect upon that audience, it's funny that this wasn't like, and maybe it was, I haven't dug that deep into it, but I didn't see it in the credits. Like it wasn't funded by the British government. It wasn't funded by some.
I mean, I don't know how it works over there. It's a BBC show.
It is a BBC show, so yes, it does have public funding, but it feels like genuinely like a work of government propaganda.
The difference between this and United Passions, other than the filmmaking, right? Because like who can evaluate the relative quality of art, right? It's impossible. It's impossible to know. The primary difference is that the intended audience for this is like English people, right? Like people who may be fans of the English national team,
young English boys, maybe specifically.
Sure. The intended audience for United Passions is Sepp Blatter.
It's Sepp Blatter and maybe a couple of attorneys at law in various high-ranking countries.
The intended audience for United Passions is like Sepp Blatter wants to see himself look like the hero.
As Tim Roth.
Like that's like that movie wasn't made for anyone to see, which is great because no one did.
I think genuinely it sold 700 tickets during its entire theatrical
I listened to the episode again. It made like $25.
Yeah. And nobody told Sam Neill he was playing a Brazilian either, which was a lot of fun.
It's got names in it. It's wild.
I gotta say, I thought it was a good episode.
We did a good job with that one. You know,
I have a strict policy that I never listen back.
That's
for my own mental health.
You would never believe it. That episode is 2.5 hours long. That section of the film room is, like give or take 45 minutes to an hour. There's a 20